You're praying for increase, but you won't commit to the seed. And so if you're trying to seed and then where's the harvest and missing the middle, well, God's saying, hey, that's not how I work. I can perform supernatural miracles, absolutely. But in the end, it's you to plant the seeds. If you want results, that's how it works. Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast. If you are new, well, hello, welcome. If you are a regular, welcome back. Maybe you are listening to this on Spotify, iTunes. Maybe you're hanging out watching with me on YouTube. It is so good to have you here. If you have listened to the last 3 episodes, thank you, because we were having mic issues after I recorded all of those. And, the show must go on. And so we're back with a different mic. And I pray that there is no glitches, there's no spiritual warfare on this, and that this comes off really clearly. So if you were listening to this episodes and you're like, why does the audio sound like poop? That's why. So thank you for that. Just to be real. I appreciate it. When it goes to show, actually, it's kind of a beautiful segue into today's episode, which is all around commitment and follow through. Like the fact that after those 3 episodes, our podcast team is like, hey, yeah, so there's literally nothing we can do with those. And here's what happened, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they're recorded. Let's get them out. The show must go on. It's I think a superpower to have when you are an entrepreneur, a content creator. You are in this beautiful online service industry where you're going to have issues and glitches, and there's no room for perfectionism. And so, invitation there, if you do struggle with that and you think there's no way I would have put a podcast out, but that the quality wasn't like 100%. If the message is there, that's all I care about. I want to make sure the message gets to you. That being said, let's dive into today's episode around commitment. This is something that I have been seeing coming up a lot. Women in my DMs, new clients that work with me, where they have these big visions, they have this mission, but their lack of follow through, of discipline, of commitment isn't quite there. Which is why one of the many reasons they hire me, because they know I'm going to hold them accountable. They know I'm not going to just give them a bunch of fluff or not call them forward. I'm a very direct coach, and I say it like it is because that's what allows my clients to get the results they want internally and externally. And so this episode isn't going to be for every woman. This episode is for the woman who knows that she has been wishy-washy. She knows that she's had the vision and the goals and the go from God, but hasn't really committed or taken things to the finish line. She starts the things and then shifts to the next thing, especially if the results aren't there right away, if she's just not in the mood anymore, all these different things that come up that are just actually, they're hiding more. And so we're going to talk about that today. What they're hiding. I've got Luna here joining me on the couch for those of you on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to YouTube, come hang out with us. I'm going to be sharing more other videos on here, this platform. All right, let's dive into the cost of inconsistency first, because what I know to be true, being an entrepreneur for over a decade now, is that when we are inconsistent in one area of our lives, it's going to bleed into the majority of every other area of our life. And when we are inconsistent, we lose trust with ourselves and therefore trust with our community, with our followers. Whether it's conscious or subconscious, doesn't matter. It's still there. And I know those of you who tune into the show have big visions. You have big God-given assignments. God has given you the visions to be able to follow through on. And I want to make sure that you're prepared and that you're called forward. So this episode might be convicting. It might be butterflies and unicorns and rainbows for you. But I pray that by the end of it, you feel inspired and activated to go and actually take something across the finish line and understand the cost of inconsistency when it comes to your God-given assignment and the abundance that you want to create, the finances, the time freedom. All of that is going to happen when you implement what I shared today with what lands for you, leave what doesn't. So the cost of being inconsistent, every time or a time that you disappear or pivot prematurely or dilute your message, that is a cost. And it's a cost that it might actually be a good cost. There might be a time to pause. But when it's done from a place of insecurity, of doubt, it is costing you. I think back to each time I've done a pivot, or I like to call them evolutions, but for the sake of everyone uses the word pivot, so I'm going to meet you where you're at. I pause. I seek wise counsel. I go to my mentors. I obviously go to God first now that I have that in my life. And I really check in on, okay, the shift I'm making, is this a right now shift? Or is this a little bit later shift? Did I shift too soon? And I look back through, again, the decade of being an entrepreneur online, every time I did it with grace and with strategy, because I allowed myself to be consistent with how I was showing up in the pivot. So we're going to get granular here. Buckle up. We're going to get granular. Another cost of inconsistency is trust is built over time, not through one good post, not through one good launch. So now we're going to zoom out here for a moment. And let's say that you've launched an offer and it's a little quiet. Well, do you then go to the next offer? Well, the next thing is not working. It's not working. It's been 24 hours, 48 hours. It's not working. Let me give up. I think back to the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. This is something I struggled with big time when I launched a program, and 3 sales would come in, 4 sales would come in, and then it would be crickets for 2 days, 3 days. And I would go into a panic. I would think I did something wrong. There's something off in the marketing, which sometimes, yes, but it would go into a spiral and be reactive versus proactive. And so that inconsistency of my scattered energy and fear and losing control would then go to me just ending the launch, like self-sabotaging, cutting it off, going to the next thing because, oh my gosh, it's not working. And therefore, that trust that you're building with your audience to stay the course begins to get broken. And once that's broken, it's going to be really hard to build back because there's so many people that they're following online that can do something better than you. I'm just going to be real. And that's where consistency and building that trust long-term by staying the course is going to change the game for you. And again, with a caveat, there's going to be times where you're going to do the hard pivot. You're going to do the shift because it's needed. But right now we're moving past the pivot and we're talking about when you're launching something or a post that you spent so much time on, maybe 5 posts. They were so good. You had the hook, you had the right formula. Maybe you got an audit done for me and you applied what I share with you in the audit in 4 posts, 5 posts, no results or little results. You're thinking, oh, it's not working. This is it. And you jump ship. Well, that's actually a cost. And so these are little things that add up. When they add up, take away from the growth of your business. Another cost is inconsistency equals training your audience not to rely on you. Whew, this is a big one. When we are inconsistent, our audience knows that. And when I'm talking to people who are here to build a business, you're not here to have a hobby. You're not here to make friends on social media. Maybe you have a personal account to do that. Or maybe you and your actual real life friends follow each other. Great, but it's your business. And so when you're inconsistent, when you're wishy-washy with your content, kind of posting here, taking off 6 days because you don't feel inspired, right? That your audience notices. They really do. And this is where discipline over feelings, if you want to build a business that actually scales, is key. Like if you want to have your hand held and be coddled too, but what about my feelings? Well, things aren't working. Awesome. That's victim mentality. And those are not the type of women that I'm here to speak life into, nor that I want to work with. And so if that's you and you're thinking, ouch, convicted, amazing, love you. I say this because I love you and I want the best for you. But if you're on, off social media and kind of making it about you, and forgetting that you created a business to be of service. That's why we rest to work. So when we are working, we're working from overflow. That means you might need to go inward and what's the subconscious beliefs you have? What are the insecurities? One of our greatest gifts and assets as an entrepreneur is emotional intelligence. So no coach or mentor is going to be able to help you get that. They can give you the guidance and the tools, but ultimately it's you and you 24/7. And so if you're inconsistent on social media and you're letting your feelings dictate it, well, then that's the direction of where your business is going to go. And you're going to lose trust with your audience because they see you being inconsistent. Another thing here, my notes, consistency breeds recognition. Inconsistency breeds confusion. Consistency breeds recognition. Inconsistency breeds confusion. So when you are inconsistent with your content all over the place, not dialing back to then dial in, you are creating confusion in your audience. This is why I love helping clients get really clear on their messaging, position them as the authority in their industry so they can call in and attract clients who are already in. They're ready to buy. Let's go. They've been primed. They've been prepped. And so they're ready to purchase. And that takes consistency. That takes commitment, that takes follow through. So if you want to be recognized and known for what your God has given you to walk out, the assignment he's given you, well, then the consistency has to happen. That's just the reality. And here's what real commitment looks like. Showing up even when the numbers are low or feedback is crickets. Nothing irks me more. And I say this with love and compassion, but again, I'm just going to be real with you because I know that there's so many women who need to hear this message. Nothing irks me more than when someone comes to me and is like, hey, I haven't been getting more comments or more views, but I've really dialed in my messaging. Like, I'm just gonna quit. It's not working. Well, okay. Have you given it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, and just went in, dove in and committed to it 6 days a week? Schedule it all out. You don't have to be on your social media for 6 days, but schedule it all out. Are you being consistent? Well, no, I keep looking at the numbers. It's getting me down. Great. That's a you problem. You got to work that out. Then come back to me. So if you're looking at the numbers and overanalyzing it and that affecting how you show up, that's something you got to work on. You got to work on. And I've been there, done that. I only teach them what I know. So this is not condemning. This is like, I get it. Like, been there. I only teach what I know and what I've done. So showing up even when the numbers are low or feedback is crickets. Keep showing up anyways. This is where most people give up. And then they're like, well, yeah, it just didn't work out or it didn't work for me. And it's not working, but here I am. And that's when all of a sudden women start getting results. They start seeing changes. All of these beautiful things start to happen. I hope you are loving today's episode. I am coming in here to share with you a video that I recorded called The Clarity Code. It is 5 messaging fixes to unlock more clarity, confidence, and conversion in your business. So if you are struggling with your messaging, you feel like you are throwing spaghetti at a wall, you've updated your bio 5, 10, 15 times, you're overthinking your content, well, go ahead and head to abundancerewired.com/the_clarity_code, or you can just see the show notes below for the link. This video is around 13 minutes, power packed. You're going to walk away on fire, ignited, and feeling so much clearer on why your messaging hasn't been landing and what to do to make sure that it reaches the people who you are meant to serve. All right, let's get back to today's episode. Another viewpoint of what real commitment looks like, repeating your core transformation until it becomes your thing. If people don't know what you do, it means you're being inconsistent with your messaging. So commitment, real commitment and follow through looks like continuing to say the same thing, the same transformation you provide, the same problem you solve again and again and again until it becomes your thing, until people know it. That's exactly what you do. Another, what real commitment looks like, say no to shiny distractions that dilute your authority. Don't go after the quick wins, quick chases, all these things that aren't aligned with your messaging and your mission. They are going to have you fall off track. They're just a distraction. And the enemy loves to put them there to take you off mission. And it confuses your audience. So commit, stay to one thing, a minimum of 3 months. Once you get your messaging locked in, whether you've got an audit with me or you're a new client, I tell my clients, once we lock it in, I need your commitment to run with this for 3 months, minimum. minimum. Then after that, let's reconvene, let's refine. And that doesn't mean during that 3 months, we're not tweaking things. I'm giving feedback. Hey, try this hook, but they're only speaking to that for 3 months. There's refinement adjustments all the time. That's marketing. But if you're not giving 3 month minimum to your messaging, well, there's something deeper under there that gets to be looked at, which I love doing for myself. I'm in this too. I'm in this with y'all. I'm just a few steps ahead of the majority of people listening to this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Examples here. A coach who's now known for helping women lose weight with zero cardio because she repeated it 100 ways. Or a strategist who said her tagline so many times that it became her brand. Right? These are the things that we want to be saying all the time, where all of a sudden people just know what we do. So, invitation here, an action item. Pick one transformation and say it 10 different ways across 10 different posts. I want you to feel so redundant in everything that you say that you're getting sick of yourself. That's when you know that you're on the right path. All right, next piece here. Why follow through is the differentiator. Most people don't fail. They just stop too soon. Period. If I had $1 for the amount of times I've failed, y'all, I've had a piggy bank full of hundreds of dollars. Like, the amount of times I've failed at something, it's insane. But I just adjust, pick up, move forward. Let's go. I ain't got time to sit in this. Sometimes I wallow for about 5 minutes and then I'm over it. But that took training. That took a lot of inner work. And again, emotional intelligence to say, it's not about me. Let's grow. Let's learn. Let's move forward. Another thing that will have you be a differentiator because of follow through is the online space is full of starters, but few finishers. People are like, well, the online industry is so watered down. The online coaching industry is saturated. How am I going to stand out? Well, if you can just finish something and take it to the finish line and go all in and get to the arena, you're going to be 100 steps ahead of the majority of people, because the majority of coaches end up giving up. They end up starting the thing, they do the launch, they create the content, and then boom, when it comes to the launch, 2 days in, 3 days in, if it's not popping, they quit, they give up. Well, sayonara then, that makes room for you. As long as you can take it to the finish line. So what beliefs do you have to work through? What old stories do you have to work through in order to truly follow through and take things to the finish line? That is where you are going to stand out amongst everyone in your industry. This is how you're going to be positioned as someone to be taken seriously, not someone who's online just to create content for applause and claps. This is what separates those who will become multimillionaires and those who become one-hit wonder coaches. Just saying, there you go. Love you. You're welcome. I hope that was convicting to someone. Audience doesn't need a new offer, 10 new offers. They need to trust you'll deliver the one you already created. If you created something, you launched something, follow through, finish it. The way you follow through tells people if you're safe to invest in. They notice, they're watching, especially the people who want to buy from you. But if there's all over the place, they're not going to buy from you because they can't trust your consistency. Like this is the level that I would love every single one of you to get at, to be able to really see big results in your business with so much alignment. Let me give you a tangible action here, some homework. I want you to revisit something you paused. It could be a launch, a lead magnet, a podcast idea, a business idea, and commit to completing one this week. Pick one thing that you put on the back burner, not because God told you to, but because of whatever story, lie, insecurity, doubt, fear, and the one that you want to pull back forward. I encourage you and invite you to commit to it this week. Finish it, start it, whatever you need to do, just get it going again. Because if God gave you that vision, there's something in there. There's something in there. So I want to go into next, how to build a reputation that precedes you. This means you got to pick a message and drill it in. I know I'm going to sound redundant, but that's the point of this episode. I want this to land in every single one of you, because if this lands, if this falls on good soil, and you've got the ears to hear, you will see radical shifts in your business and how you lead, and therefore the time freedom and financial freedom that you're going to experience in your life. Anchor it in into every platform, your message, drill it in, everything, all the time, everywhere. Right. One of my key pieces is discipline. Go in, arena, let's go, off the sidelines. And I share that in 10 different ways across all my platforms when it comes to your messaging and your branding. And then once people start working with me and they're in my ecosystem, that's where I can help them build their courses, build their funnels, build their lead magnets. But up front facing, I'm known for helping you get your message clear so you can see conversions over and over and over. And that takes discipline, that takes commitment, that takes all in attitude over and over and over. So what's that thing for you? Drill it across every single platform. People need repetition to associate your name with the result. If people hear your name and they don't know the result you provide, that means that you have been wishy-washy with your messaging. So pick the thing, drill it in, and let that precede your name. So when someone talks about the results that you provide, but they haven't attached your name to it yet, it's two people at a coffee shop, and someone's like, hey, I wish I could find someone that does this. And then Susie's thinking, oh my gosh, I know so-and-so on social media. She's a past client of a coach of mine. She can help you. Boom. That means that your reputation preceded you. What you're known for preceded you. And that's what you want. That's where you want to get to. Consistency is how you create resonance and referrals, period. The amount of referrals that I get is incredible. It's because, one, I provide results for people. I help them create massive transformation in their life, whether mentally, internally, physically, in their businesses. Therefore, they're going to refer people to me because they've built that trust with me. They've built that rapport with me. And so that for you, in order to get that, you have to become known for something. You have to be consistent in something and get people transformation, whether it's tangible or intangible, where they want to go, and send people your way. So tools that help with this. We're going to get nitty gritty here. Write this down. Weekly content calendar focused on message repetition. Again and again, said 10 different ways, same thing. Accountability here. If you don't have a mentor, a team, if you don't have deadlines, and you're someone who's wishy-washy and doesn't follow through, then invest into a mentor. Get into a container, get into a community that has high accountability, not just any community, right? Get into one that has intentional deadline accountability. In the university, we have like the tightest accountability I've ever seen in any container, which is why we added it, because I know my clientele and they need to be held to accountable of what they want to take action on. And so knowing that, I have those in place. Students in the university have study buddies they meet with or connect with every single week, and they have a structured call formula that they follow. We have every Monday in the Telegram chat, they share their weekly intentions. We do check-ins throughout the week. We have a weekly win at the end of the week. They submit their homework every Friday in the chat. We have these different milestones in place for accountability. And therefore, women in the university, those who follow through on this, they get and see momentum in their businesses. Another tip here, time blocking. Treat your brand like a non-negotiable client. Time block your life and your life will change. I was just having this conversation. It was either during an open office hour in the university or a seminar, but I was talking about if I were to look at any of their calendars, and I would be able to quickly see where the results they're going to have in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So pro tip beyond belief, time blocking. We had a student leader in the university, Marie, shout out Marie, teach a hour seminar around time blocking, content scheduling. It was so good. And it just goes to show, and she's a mom, right? She's a wife, she's an entrepreneur. These should be things, whether you have all of that or not, if you want to get results, because they hold you accountable, they have you follow through. And say you're good at time blocking, but you lack the accountability to actually honor the time blocking. This is where hiring a mentor, getting into a container is going to provide that for you. And yes, it's going to take time and resources and money, but in order to get the results you want, you know your own issues and your own blind spots. Well, then this is where you get to hold yourself accountable to get the help with them. Okay, let's dive into the spiritual and strategic side of commitment here. Oh my goodness, this is key. And I think most people just skip past this. If God gave you a message, he expects you to steward it. Period. If God gave you a message, he trusted in you with a message. That means it's your responsibility to steward it. That means it's not just post it one time, and if it doesn't land or people don't comment, oh, it's not for me. It's not the time. Never mind. Let me shift. Right? It has to happen. There has to be follow through. If he gave you a message, he gave you a vision, he's built you a brand, well, then he's expecting you to steward it. So how are you stewarding the message that God has given you? How are you stewarding the vision he's given you? Are you dancing around it, or are you taking it to the finish line? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down right now? Because with great vision comes great responsibility, but it's not your power, your force, your energy. When you're following God's path for you, you get the Holy Spirit energy. You get that God confidence, especially those of you who are followers of Christ. Like, we get superpower put into us that allows us to follow through with this, with the vision, with the mission, with the message. And so therefore, what message has he given you that you have the opportunity now to steward better, to trust the process, to go all in, to do the posts, to keep the launch going, even if the results aren't there yet? This is what will make and break people who have multiple 5-figure months and those who continue to have a cap at 1K, 2K, etc. You're praying for increase, but won't commit to the seed. You're praying for increase, but you won't commit to the seed. Everything is in seasons. We got to seed. We got to water. We got to trust, and then it will grow. And so if you're trying to seed and then where's the harvest and missing the middle, well, God's saying, hey, that's not how I work. I can perform supernatural miracles. Absolutely. But in the end, it's you to plant the seeds, to commitment, to keep planting the seeds, water them, even if you don't want to. If you want results, that's how it works. Here's another a beautiful spiritual side of commitment is discipline is trust and action, not striving or pushing. This is where obedience comes in. When we are obedient to the message God's given us and we have discipline around it, that means that we are taking action in full trust. When you show up daily, even when it's quiet, you're saying, I believe in what I'm building, even if no one claps yet. So keep going. Even if they're not clapping, keep going. 2 journal prompts I want you to write down. Where have I ghosted the assignment I said yes to? Where have I ghosted the assignment I said yes to? 2, ask God, what's one area I need to recommit to this week? What's one area I need to recommit to this week? So what if the only thing between you and the breakthrough is your follow through, is your commitment? What if that was the one thing? Which, spoiler alert, it most likely is. If you are here at the end, you made it through. That means that that's most likely the number one blind spot that you have right now. This week, pick one thing, finish it. Show yourself what's possible when you keep your word to you and ultimately to God. Invite someone in on this. Send this episode to a friend who you know could use some accountability and a little bit of conviction. And so you guys can then be each other's accountability partner to follow through on said one thing. So I want you to send this podcast right now. If you're watching the YouTube, comment, say, I'm sending it to a friend. Share this link with a friend. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, share this with a friend and say, go listen to this, and then let's be accountability partners. When you take action, when you follow through, you're going to be shocked at the results that you get. It's going to build your muscle. It's going to grow your confidence. And therefore, looking back on the season that you were inconsistent, you're going to think, oh, that was cute. No wonder I had fill in the blank results. And now I'm here where I'm at. What a blessing. What a blessing. And if you need support with this, if you know that you need high level accountability, come send me a DM over on Instagram at Taylor Simpson and just say, like, what do you got? And I'll share with you whenever you're listening to this episode. That's why I'm just giving this a kind of an umbrella. I'll let you know what different offers and programs that we currently have or communities that you can get involved with to be able to really help you with the follow through and get the right strategies as in place as well. Thank you for tuning in. As always, can we go out and embody what it's like to be in joy, to share with someone what it looks like to be in joy, and to make joy cool? Yeah, let's go do that. All right. I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye.